Hello, I am Bianca Jacqueline Sanchez Cordero, and I am a student from the Master's degree in English Language and Cultural Studies of the University of Guadalajara. Today, I will present my research project, which is titled The Role of Gamification in Students' Motivation and Autonomy to Learn English as a Foreign Language Program in the Virtual System at the University of Guadalajara. Before starting this presentation, it's important to mention that this study is still in progress, so I will show some of the sections that I have developed so far. So for the content of this presentation, we will see the problem statement, justification, objectives, research questions, conceptual framework, literature review, methodology, participants, and I will also share some references. First, for the problem statement. In education, particularly in the English as a foreign language field, there are different aspects that educators should consider when planning and teaching lessons, being students' motivation one of the most important ones. In this sense, motivation should be considered as a crucial element in the learning process, especially regarding virtual learning environments. Since the direction is different from the face-to-face modality, its role becomes magnified. And despite motivation is an essential component of learning, students still face problems with motivation, and this could be an issue during their English learning process. Also, teachers might encounter challenges in approaching this, so the implementation of gamification has been proposed to address such matters. Then for the justification. It's necessary to consider that technological advancements have completely changed education, and they have proposed different learning modalities, such as online learning. And digital technology is becoming more prevalent in all areas of our life, so it has not only changed how we live, but also how we learn. And as an online learning has developed, certain difficulties have arisen as well in the different fields of education. In the case of EFL, motivation is seen as one of these challenging issues. Moreover, the general direction of virtual university and lifelong digital learning, previously known as UDG Virtual and now UDG Plus, is the department of the University of Guadalajara in charge of designing institutional policies regarding online or virtual education and directing their implementation throughout the university network. In this sense, during 2018 and 2024, Castro and other researchers conducted a needs analysis evaluation of the English courses that were offered at the different levels at UDG Plus. And among the findings, it was identified that there were issues with the English program and the platform that was used. And this resulted in students having high failure rates in the online learning modality, and they weren't able to meet the required graduation profile. For this reason, the design of a new program was proposed. This has certain implications. Some of them were the need of using virtual immersion to expose students to real-life language situations, and also including instructional design elements such as gamification and interplay. And as gamification continues to be implemented into educational environments, it is necessary to explore how teachers can incorporate this in an effective way into EFL teaching while also being able to adapt to new technological advancements. For this reason, the present study recognizes the need for implementation of gamification to be further developed, especially regarding the impact that it has on the motivation of the students from the virtual system at UDG. So the research expects to give a deeper insight into the students' motivation and autonomy and the role that gamification has on them. So the objectives that the research has could be divided into the general objective and specific objectives. So regarding the general objective, the aim is to evaluate the use of gamification on students' motivation and autonomy in the EFL classes from the virtual system at UDG. And for the specific objectives, we have identifying the students' motivation states at the University of Guadalajara Virtual, analyzing the impact of gamification on students' motivation and autonomy at the EFL class in the University of Guadalajara Virtual, and providing recommendations for applying gamification in the EFL class at the University of Guadalajara Virtual context. So these lead us to the research questions. There are two. The first one is, what are the University of Guadalajara Virtual students' motivation states? And second, what is the impact of gamification on students' motivation and autonomy in the FL class at the University of Guadalajara virtual? So it is necessary to understand central concepts that are included in the conceptual framework. The first one is motivation. And based on the theory of motivation, this could be understood as the internal force that is used to satisfy the fundamental psychological needs. So this occurs as an inner process that enables the fulfillment of a need by providing the required energy to guide the necessary efforts toward this achievement. Then there is gamification, and this is implementation of game elements in a non-game environment. So in the case of education, gamification is related to a technique that implements entertainment aspects in the classroom to engage students within these elements. So this promotes interaction between the teacher and the students, and it enhances the improvement of skills and abilities in the academic, cognitive, and social areas. Then online learning is related to the adoption of internet technologies to provide an assortment of knowledge and performance enhancing approaches. So this is different from the face-to-face learning modality, as online learning provides a different access to information and enables a distinct interaction and collaboration with other users, and this helps to overcome certain limitations of time and space. And this is facilitated, of course, through some form of technology. Then autonomy is defined as the ability to take charge of one's own learning. So here the students take a more active role in the decisions and establishment of goals, choosing content and methods, and monitoring process and outcomes. So they move beyond a passive role and they take a more active one in decision making. So then for the literature review, according to different authors, motivation is a key factor to be considered during the English learner process. And a proposal to address this issue is the implementation of gamification in the ESOL context. Since gamification plays an increasing prominent role in language learning by incorporating game-like elements to engage and motivate learners. But despite gamification uh, being applied in many fields of education, its effectiveness in ELT and with reference to learners' motivation is still an area for research. And so the literature has provided different findings. Some of them are related to the relevant impact that gamification has had on the motivation of students to learn English as a foreign language, as well certain influence on the overall success and academic achievement in EFL learning has been shown. And this has led to valuable insights on implementation of game elements into ELT. So learning a second language has become a more meaningful and constructive way for students. And here I also share some example of meaningful studies previously conducted. Then for the methodology, a mixed method approach is going to be used since this approach integrates both qualitative and quantitative traditions within a single inquiry. So this provides the advantages of both research designs. So it's important to notice that this goes beyond the mere collection analysis of different types of data because this emphasizes the complementary use of both methods. And this provides a deeper rigor and explanatory power of the study. This will also be related to action research since I will be the teacher giving the course and also the researcher evaluating the whole process. And some of the instruments are divided in quantitative and qualitative forms. So to gather the quantitative data, pre-test and post-test will be used to evaluate the gamification elements and also the students' results. And the qualitative data will help to evaluate the motivation states of the students. So the motivation scales will be adapted from proposals of psychologists, and this will be complemented with interviews that will have open-ended questions to gather more information about the states of motivation of the students. Then the participants. The profile is that they are UDG virtual students, and these students are from different bachelor's degrees that are offered in this institution, and most of them are young adult learners that are around their 20s. Here are some of the references. And as mentioned at the beginning, this is a research um, under process. So I would really appreciate any comment or feedback that could be provided to what I have done so far. And also, I will be glad to answer any question that might have arise from this presentation. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you to CIILA for giving me the opportunity of presenting my project. Thank you very much.